Hey guys, it's Rich with your Monday Spot on the Pagan Perspective. This week's topic is about finding your path, and it comes from the person who I lovingly refer to as the other Aussie witch. Of course, Australia only has 2 witches, and I'm not talking about Brendan, so of course I'm talking about our very own Eryk. So anyway, love you, Eryk. Eryk wrote this in about 6 months ago, and we're just now getting around to getting to that question. That's how many topics we have. So Eryk writes, I'd love to hear how you each came to your tradition that you're practicing. Okay. This comprises of about 3 different questions. Actually, exactly 3 different questions. So I'm going to just go, or 3 different parts of the 2 questions, 1 sentence. Okay. Grammar Nazis, there. It's 1 sentence, then 2 questions after that. Okay. So, how did I come to my practice as of now? Okay. Okay. Setting the scene. 2010. Okay. My uncle had died. I know I've told this story before, but my uncle had died, and I got into spirit communication. I started to look into witchcraft, prior to that. I had done divination and whatnot, so it wasn't like the world of witchcraft and paganism was completely new to me. I knew some basic things. It's something that always intrigued me, and I kind of wanted to look into that spirit communication aspect, the divination aspect, which was always something that really spoke to me. So I started to get into doing divination more and more. Started to look into more and more spiritual communication, and then started to get into spellcrafting. And I originally, like many of us, went towards the Wiccan-based practice because, well, that's what's readily available, and that's what seems good and right for everybody. So, yeah, it has that nice, warm, fuzzy type of look to it, or presentation to it. So, yes, I went for the Wiccan-based practice, and I always said that I wanted to keep Jesus in my life because, I had been a Christian since 1999, and it's early 2010, so yeah, over 10 years, almost 11 at that point. So I didn't want to lose that aspect of myself because it didn't feel like I needed to, so I kept that aspect. You can love the figurehead, but not the church itself. So you can love the deity, but not the church, that type of thing. So that's something that I did with my early practice of Christian Wiccan. And then I went into Christo-paganism rather than just Christian Wiccan because the Wiccan part didn't seem to fit anymore. So after a while, it just did not fit. I started becoming one of those, I'll take from each one of the buffet aspects of paganism and meld it into my practice somehow that it becomes a thing for me, as long as if it's not like cultural appropriation, that type of thing, and I give credit where credit's due, all that good stuff. Anyway, what appealed to you about that tradition more so than another? Again, I didn't actually go into a tradition per se. This is something that I've kind of just carved out as I went through the weeds. I kind of made my own path and, cultivated my own practice the way that I wanted to. So there was no real tradition to follow. But the thing that really appealed to me about my practice is that I can make it mine. And that's really a thing that anybody can do, but with my practice, it's like, okay, everybody's like, well, you can't be Christian Wiccan or you can't be Christo-pagan because the Bible says this about pagans, and pagans don't believe in Jesus, and this and that. And it's like, okay, whatever. So the point being that I kind of made my own tradition as I went along, and it just kind of became its own thing, and it works quite nicely for me. Let's see. And the other question that is asked here, was there any divination done that gave you the indication that this was the right path? Okay. Divination, in and of itself, is something that I love to do. However, there was no actual divination as to whether or not this was the correct decision for me. There was a lot of sleepless nights. There was a lot of deep meditations and what's the word I'm looking for? The deep catharsis, deep thought, basically, in whether or not this was the right or the correct path for me, the correct practice for me. So, yeah, there wasn't any divination done for that. Should have probably done some divination. But divination does play a role in my practice otherwise. I do divination for others. I do divination for myself. I don't do divination for, and this is oddly enough, I don't know why I didn't, and if I did, I don't remember, doing divination for my practice if this was the correct path for me. I don't think I ever did. So, it's a question I need to ask myself why I never did that. But no, there was no divination really done, I don't think. And as far as divination in my early practice, I love doing divination. I still do divination. I loved it then. It's one of the things that I did even before having a pagan type of practice. So yeah, it is part of my practice. It's just wasn't part of the decision making for my practice. Wow. So that was a long time to say very little in context. I do apologize for my rambliness. Eryk, I hope this answered all of your 2 questions and 1 sentence. And I think that's it. So until next time, I'm going to get out of this chilly room. And I will see you guys next time, next Monday. So until then, may you have love, hugs, and ladybugs. Bye-bye.